What's up, everybody? Tony for Polymath Finance here. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the 10 guidelines for saving money, building wealth, and eliminating debt. Now, today I'm going to focus on one of the guidelines. It's creating a budget. It's guideline number one. Now, a couple things before we dive in. These are guidelines. They're just guidelines. You don't have to necessarily follow them step by step. You don't need to do all of them. They're not mandatory. They're just guidelines. That's what it is, right? It's just if someone were to ask me, I'm starting from scratch, what should I do? This is the list of 10 things that I would give them. It doesn't mean that you have to do one or the other or both or none. It just means, hey, this is some blanket advice. And that's important, right? Because a lot of people on social media, what they'll do is they'll give a very general statement. These are the 5 things I would do. These are the 10 things I would do, which I'm kind of doing, right? But A, it's not for everybody. And B, even if it's good advice, it's got to be tailored, right? It's got to be tailored for your financial plan, for whatever's like specific to you, right? Like it's very frustrating to see advice that's general and everyone thinks it's the end all be all, or people make it seem like it's the end all be all. And it's good advice. It's just it's got to be tailored. Like advice I would give someone who's married with 2 kids is probably going to be different than someone that's not married and early in their career, right? Like it's it's going to be different. It's going to be different than someone who's 65 and getting ready to retire, right? Like the things I tell my parents is not the same things that I tell my sisters or my friends or my clients across all different age spectrums, right? Anyway, I digress. Thought that was important to just mention. The point is, the 10 guidelines are great. I think they're a great foundation. Obviously, I put them together, right? But it's best to try to get a tailored plan for yourself. Now, that doesn't mean you have to come to me. You can go to ChatGPT. You can or a family friend that's a financial advisor, whatever it might be. I'm really digressing here. Hope I didn't lose you in these first 2 minutes. Okay. Creating a budget. It is a very it's a general statement. I don't want to say it's taboo, but like budgets like scare people. And what I like to put together is not necessarily a budget, right? I'm not trying to say, hey, you can only spend $5 on coffee because that's what you put in your budget. I'm not saying that, oh, I can't go golfing this month because, that's not in my budget. Now, those are good practices if you're trying to save money. But the point I'm making is creating a budget isn't, from my perspective, creating a budget isn't, hey, I'm setting this in stone and I'm never going to deviate, right? It's what I'm talking about in the guidelines is more so let's create a monthly profit and loss statement. Now, what does that mean? Let's understand what your income is after taxes, after benefits, after deductions. What's that net number? What are you taking home? I don't really care what your gross number is. That doesn't mean anything for us, right? Because someone that makes 100 grand per year but has medical benefits that covers their family, that they're going to have a higher deduction and a lower net income than someone who's single making 100 grand per year and their health insurance is less. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care as much about the gross number. I want to know that net number. So step 1, I guess, is let's get that net income number on a monthly basis. Why monthly, right? Like, what's the big deal about monthly? Typically speaking, most of your expenses are gonna be monthly, right? So like, let's try to match your monthly expenses to your monthly income, or your monthly income to your monthly expenses. Then we're gonna lay out all of your expenses, all of them, the one-offs, the coffees, the lunches, rent, mortgage, all of your expenses. Like, go through your bank accounts, go through your credit card statements, maybe you pay for things in cash, I don't know, but go through all your receipts and write out all of your expenses, all of them, right? And you'll get an idea of, okay, we're going to take that income number, that net income number. We're going to back out your expenses, and that's going to be your starting net profit. Take a look at that number. See how it makes you feel, right? Then what you're going to do is you're going to remove any of those expenses that are like one-offs, right? So we're going to try to find the core expenses for your profit and loss statement. Rent, mortgage, your groceries, your utilities, gas for your car, insurance. Maybe you go to the gym. Maybe that's a non-negotiable. You include that in there. Childcare expenses, lawn maintenance, whatever you feel like I have to spend my money on these things on a monthly basis, we're gonna keep those things. And then we're gonna bucket the nice to haves. Going to dinner, buying lunch for yourself, coffee, golf, other hobbies. Sorry, I use golf a lot because I'm a golf guy, so that's just like what comes to mind. But like your hobbies could be anything. I mean, you could be a car fanatic, you could be into music, you can buy a new drum set every month, whatever it might be. I don't know. I'm making shit up at this point, but whatever those one offs are, or the the non necessary item, the non essentials, we're gonna bucket those because you're gonna take a look at that net profit number and say, okay, am I happy with this, right? Am I happy with what this number is saying? Like, do you think you save $1,000 a month? Well, this exercise will let you know if you're actually saving $1,000 a month. Sure, you'll see your bank account statement go up if you actually are, but what if it's staying the same? What if it's stagnant? What if you don't realize where all your money's going? How do you know where your money is going if you don't write it all down on paper, right? We all like to pretend we know what we spend on groceries on a monthly basis, but do you know what you actually spend on groceries? I'll let you sit with that for a little bit. The other main thing about this is, how are you ever going to make a financial decision if you don't know what you have at the end of the month? What if your rent is $1,500 per month and you want a bigger, nicer place, which is perfectly fine, by the way. People that say, "Oh, I'm bigger," watch out for life creep, which is true. We'll talk about that in another video, maybe in a second. Watch out for life creep. That's fine. But what if you want to increase your rent because you want a bigger, nicer place, and it goes from 1,500 to 2,000? How do you know you can afford that? Are you gonna guess? Right? Like, you really think about it. How do you know if you can afford more expensive things in your life? Or, a little bit scarier, what if something goes wrong? What if your water heater breaks, or your car breaks down, or I don't know, you have a major injury and like you're out of work, whatever the hell. Like, how do you know what you can afford in your life if you don't know what you're making on a monthly basis? Right? People could tell me they make 100 grand per year, but what does that mean to me? Like, what does that mean to you? What does that mean? You make 100 grand. That's great. You make 100 grand per year, divide by 12. You make, 8,500 a month, 8,300 a month. But like, you don't really make 8,300 a month, right? Because you have taxes that come out of that. You have some sort of, maybe, I don't know, I'm guessing, but like health benefits will come out of that. If you're contributing to an IRA or a 401k or a 403b or some sort of contribution somewhere, that comes out of that. So that number comes down pretty drastically, right? You're probably going to lose 20 to 30% of that number. So how do you know what you can afford, right? How do you make major financial decisions for yourself? Here's the point I'm really going. If I meet with you as a client, my typically first couple of questions, besides getting to know you, they're gonna circle around, like, what are your goals? What are your financial goals? What are your personal goals? What are your professional goals? They're all tied in, by the way, right? Like, if your personal goal is to buy a house, well, there's like a financial aspect to it. Your financial goal could be, okay, I want to make $300,000 a year. Great, that's great, but I got real politician-y there. Sorry, I just don't know what to do with my hands during these fucking things. I lost my train of thought. So, what are your goals? What are your financial goals, your personal goals, your professional goals? If you want, let's say one of your financial goals, your retirement goal is you want $1 million in retirement. That's great. How much can you allocate to saving for retirement? No, I didn't freeze. I left you there with an awkward pause. If you think you're netting, that net number at the end of the month is $500 per month, right? You're like, okay, I can allocate $300. But then you do a monthly profit and loss statement and you realize, oh, I'm actually breaking even. That's fine, no judgment. But then you can't allocate $300. Or, well, and I shouldn't say or, now you can go through the expenses. You can be, okay, what can I remove? Blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying is, if you don't have those answers, you can't make an assessment. How are you going to analyze data that's not there, right? A monthly profit and loss. And that's why what I was saying in the beginning was, like, I don't really love the term budget, because what I really want you to do is analyze your expenses and your income and your personal finance standpoint from a whole, right? Getting that net number is so important because it's going to help you make decisions for the future. It's going to help you make decisions now, right? I'll give you an example. You tell me, this is my income, these are my expenses. I net $500 per month. Okay, what's your goal? My goal is to save $1 million for retirement. Okay, are you already doing it? Yes, I am, because there's a contribution coming out of my income, and I'm on track to save $1 million per year. Okay, do you want to increase that number? No, I don't. I want $1 million per year. I want $1 million saved. You guys got it, right? Not a million. I want $1 million saved for retirement. Okay, well, now you're netting 500. You're already allocating to that $1 million, right? What else can we do with that number? But what if you didn't know that? It might seem simple, but it's like I'm of the opinion that people aren't as well in tuned with their financials as they say they are. This is kind of the last thing I'll say, and we'll dive into this more in future guidelines. But debt, credit card debt, especially credit card debt, is through the motherfucking roof. Yeah, I used the F word. Sorry. It's through the roof. How are you going to pay off your credit card debt? Tell me, how are you going to pay it off? It's fine that it's there. I've been in credit card debt like 3 times. And each time was a little bit of a different scenario, but I had to know what I was making, what I was spending, and what I was keeping on a monthly basis in order to attack that goal. How are you going to pay off your credit card debt? If you're breaking even, right? That's fine. I'm not here to pass judgment on breaking even. We've all been there. But if you're breaking even, that means one of 2 things has to happen. We have to decrease your expenses, which in today's day and age is very hard. It's very hard. Maybe you're spending your money on some silly things, and sure, we'll remove those and we'll see how we can play around with the expenses. But option 2 is increasing your income. Now, that's not easy either. I'm not saying you just go out and just start making more money. If you could just make more money, everybody would do it. But we have to have a serious conversation. Do you need a new job? Should you ask for a promotion or a raise at your current job? Do you need a second job or a third job? Sometimes that happens. But if your goal is to pay off credit card debt and you're breaking even on a monthly basis, something has to change. And you're not going to know something has to change until you put everything on paper in a monthly profit and loss statement, aka a budget. Now, I kind of went on my high horse there, and I apologize if I, went on too much of a tangent there, but that's just the truth of it, right? That's just the brutal truth. The other thing that a monthly P&L does, and this is more on the budgeting side, right? Let's say you put this together and you expect to save $500 per month, but in July, you only save $200 per month. Well, now you have something to base it off of. You have a baseline. You know, these are my typical expenses. This is my typical income. This is what I should be bringing home. I didn't bring it home. Why? Maybe you had a party 4th of July weekend that you had a whole bunch of people over. You spent a little bit more money. Fine. Good. I'm glad you had a good time for 4th of July. I wish I was invited, but that's okay. Maybe next time. That's fine. But now you know, oh, I went to a wedding, or in December, it's the holidays, so I spent more money because of the holidays. It's Thanksgiving and I had my family over. It was someone's birthday, or it was our anniversary. We went out to dinner a couple more times. Fine, that's great. Love that for you. But at least now you have an answer. You're not guessing. Oh, where did my money go? If you have to fucking ask yourself, where did my money go? Call me, like now. Call me now. Please let me help you. I'm free. Book a PodMath Finance, literally 3 sessions. Anyway, so that's my tangent today. Guideline number 1: create a budget, a monthly profit and loss statement. It's only going to set you up for success. It might be a hard conversation with yourself, but hard conversations now will help create a better future for the future. I try to be a philosopher there. I fucked up the words. You guys get it. Hopefully this isn't shit. If you made it this far, thanks. Thanks for sticking around. By the way, pretty cool signage, right? My wife's awesome. So that wasn't in the budget. See what I'm saying? That wasn't in the budget. We're not going to save as much as we normally do. I'm going to look back and be like, what the hell? My wife's going to be like, hey, I bought you a cool ass sign. I'm like, thanks, babe. Thanks. We'll run it through the business next time. There's no, I don't make any money. Not yet. I'm going to cut this out. Anyway, as always, in all honesty, I kid around. I'm here to help. If you guys have any questions or comments or want to talk about something, shoot me a message on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or wherever the fuck you're watching this. Send me an email. Go on polymathfinance.com. There's plenty of resources. I am here to help you. Please let me help you. Let me teach you finance. That's all I got for you today. Love yous.